And welcome to the David Tomsic Show, fighting tyranny one day at a time. It's Monday, April 7th, which means you'll be seeing this video on Tuesday. So keep that in mind, because right now I'm going to give you a little stock market rundown at 11:11 here Eastern Standard Time in southwestern Pennsylvania. All the markets are showing red. The only positive index is the Russell 2000. It's like almost 0.2% up. Everything's struggling right now. There's some obviously buying opportunities for people. Crude oil kind of went up a little from its low. It's now at about $61.9 a barrel. That's still low for oil. You'd think that the prices would come down at the pumps. They have not here. And remember, with oil, if you want to drill in America, which I don't want them to, I'm an environmental guy. These butchers, will, I think, ruin our lands, but that's another story. But if you wanted to drill here off the coast, whatever, it's expensive. It costs a lot to drill to the depths we need to drill to hit some of this oil. Unlike Saudi Arabia, who basically can stick a straw in and the oil comes right up. Different cost structure there. And so they have more profit that they can make from the oil they pump. But having said all that, right now the VIX is struggling and is in the negative. Now the VIX is an indicator of volatility, obviously. And whether it's leaning us towards a bear market or not, I'm not sure. Many believe that we could head into a bear market territory. And looks like the bulls might be on the retreat. So we'll see what happens. I'll update this tomorrow. We'll let you know how that goes. But right now, the markets are still struggling. I have some comments I want to make, and I'm pulling this up now. It really has to do with the whole thing behind the tariffs, the whole reason why the world is now struggling. It's not just here. The whole world is in chaos. So if you watched my video, which you would have seen on Monday, then you know that I was talking about the global order. And I talk a little bit about Singapore and their response to the tariffs to the people of Singapore. And I want to tell you, there's a pattern here that I think Singapore realizes and most leaders in the world realize. There's a pattern to Donald Trump. Those people who supported him, who actually got him elected, sometimes they overlook this or they don't care with these problems he has in his personality. Sociopath, psychopath, he's a lot of things that most people don't care to admit or don't worry about. Because he made a promise to make America great again. He made a promise that everything was going to be okay, that he had to do certain things for that to work. Like the Hail Mary pass in a football game. You drop back and you throw the ball 60 yards into the end zone and you hope your guy comes up with it. Sometimes they do. I don't think there's a high success rate there. And so what Donald Trump's doing with tariffs isn't going to have a high success rate at this level, because what he's done is really overturned the world, the apple cart of the world. Many people think that's okay because it's going to work out. Not for everybody. In fact, for those of us in the middle class, those of us in the lower middle class, those that are really poor, basically living on the fringe of society, this will devastate what's left of the lives they have. Those with 401ks or savings accounts that they'll need to tap into to survive, to pay for college bills or for hospital bills, if they were going to buy a home, if they were going to retire. This is the worst time in the world for those people. And there's probably a lot of them. They're going to be crushed. But I wanted to go over why it's so easy for me to understand the Donald Trump story, why I have stood against him like many, many more people have across this nation. He came back from Mar-a-Lago. It seems like he's there every week, and the joke is throughout the alternative news media that he's golfing more often, and he's not, on our dime, because they fly him down on Air Force One. Now, every president does this. It just seems like he now is like trumping everybody. Get it? It's like he's always golfing. And reporters go on the plane, Air Force One. And so after he was in the air, he came out to talk to reporters, and someone asked him about his golf game. Somebody wanted to powder his butt a little bit. And, oh, it was great. It was great. Did you know I won? And I want to say this as he said it, but I can't because I laugh. He kept saying, I know. Do you know I won? I won. I'm a really good golfer. I won. Did anybody tell you I won? He said it multiple times. And she asked him, well, what's your handicap? Very low, very low. And you know I won. I won this tournament. Okay, you won a tournament while America is crashing. And you brag about it. You took quite a while with this question to brag about your win in this golf tournament, meaningless golf tournament. Again, there's a pattern here. This is classic him. Now, those who support him think that's not an issue, but the rest of us who know better saying, wait a minute, where's the empathy for your country, for people? And the question is him and Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos and a lot of these people, most of them don't have empathy for the rest of the country. Most of them don't because they have no ability to relate to me and you. It's all about numbers. It's all about money. So for those of us down here, we're kind of left out. Now, many people who support him, and I understand, when they hear money, they want to be like that. They think somehow they're going to benefit. I don't know how, because your taxes are still going to be high while he reduces the taxes of the wealthy. I don't know how you think you're going to benefit. You're going to get a dividend check. I don't want your blood money because, as I've mentioned in other videos, if you're destroying the bureaucracy of the federal government and there's no one there left to do the jobs that need to be done, these people are now laid off and you cheer about it like they did. Just like when Elon Musk and Donald Trump were talking about the firings of thousands of people. Donald Trump said, "You're the best guy I've ever seen in firing people," and they laughed and joked about it. These are people's lives. So many people I know don't care. They laugh and they feel good about it. Christians, I want to mention that. Good Christians have told me, that's great, they're firing these people. No, that's not great. So he's bragging about golfing at the time when people are suffering. So he was also asked about the tariffs. Are you negotiating with countries? Is this your plan? What's part of the plan? Now, this lady had asked a couple of questions, good ones. He said, someone else asked a question. She's asking too many questions. Of course, that means he isn't going to answer her question. And that next reporter isn't going to ask it. That's one of my big problems with him. He belittles everybody. When he was asked about the security breach by Pete Hegseth, his Secretary of Defense, the incompetent Pete Hegseth that really should never have been placed in that position. Well, when he released those classified documents about the Yemen bombing to a newspaper, Donald Trump trashed the newspaper and the odor of the newspaper. They're trash anyway. They're going to go out of business. Again, avoiding a very important question, avoiding the answering to that very important question because he doesn't care, because the incompetence around him is by design. They will say yes to whatever he wants. That's frightening in itself. So we didn't get any answers from the President of the United States on some important key issues. But I'm going to go to the next one, which is even more so. It's when you land on Fantasy Island. So then we come to another question about El Salvador. He was asked about the flights going to El Salvador from the United States with so-called MS-13 people. Now, if you recall, the federal judge told him to stop those flights, to turn them around. There was no due process in sending them there. They had no day in court, which everybody in the United States is entitled to under the Constitution. But he refused to turn the planes around because he's bigger than the federal government. He's bigger than the laws of our nation. But he said that, the leader of El Salvador, I think is Nayib Bukele, is his friend. And then he goes and says that their prison system spends a tiny fraction of our prison system. Well, the reason, Donald, is because they don't feed them very often. They brutalize them and torture them. And our prison system basically has the highest incarceration rate in the world. Why wouldn't it cost as much as it does? Right from the start here, if you're black and you go in front of a judge, you're going to jail. We know that from the incarceration numbers. If you don't have a good attorney, which most poor people don't, you're going to jail. That's the way it works here in America. There's no real judicial system for the poor. So guess what, Donald? Let's stick with the truth. Let's stick with reality. Stop living on Fantasy Island. Here's another one. Scott Bessent. Scott Bessent's a billionaire. He's worth $500 million. Hedge fund guy from Wall Street. I don't like him. The reason I want to put that in perspective, that he's worth $500 million, and that's what he kind of did, is because he's on Fantasy Island too. He said in an interview, here we go. Listen to this carefully, my friends. He said Americans shouldn't worry about their life savings or retirement because they probably have enough in their bank accounts, so there's nothing to worry about. Okay, how many? We know by statistics, most people don't have $1,000 in their bank account. We know that from the data from banks, from the American banking system. There's very few people that have over $1,000 in their bank account. So where does he get this? Is this guy living in the same world as you and I? He's the Secretary of the Treasury. This is how you think of America, that we're all rich, that we have plenty of money in our bank accounts? Once again, the reason I wanted to do this video like I'm doing it is to give you perspective. I get comments, and I don't answer many of them anymore, especially the ones that are really redundant. I talk about the truth on these particular videos. They want to comment on something that I talked about. Listen, you're not going to change my mind. So if you believe that Donald Trump has somehow solved all these problems by signing all these executive orders, that people who you don't like are getting thrown out of the country, that people you don't like are no longer going to get health benefits, that people you don't like are going to be put in prison, that all these countries you don't like are going to be destroyed, and America will be great again on top of their ashes, those things that you think are wrong. So if you're one of the people that truly believe that Donald Trump's doing a great job, I'm confused because ultimately proof is in the pudding. We now know that he has no control over anything he's doing. It's all by whim. All of it is by whim. It's by conspiracy. He's attacking people that he thinks are hurting America, our European allies, our Canadian allies, immigrants, people that are Democrats, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris. All these evil people have destroyed the country. They're all stupid, unlike him. He's brilliant, playing 150-dimension chess. Sorry, my friends, that's not true. Those of you that can't get Joe Biden out of your system, once again, I have to tell you, those days are over. Donald Trump has every opportunity to fix it all, but instead things got worse, not better. And those people that truly believe that the tariffs are going to work to our advantage are sadly mistaken. You can look around the world, there's chaos. Chaos everywhere. And even as these countries, even as these nations and their leaders are considering what to do, if they should retaliate or not, even if they choose not to retaliate, right now they're all making plans to circumvent the United States. Right now they're making sure they're not going to invest in America. They're finding alternative places to get products. They're making treaties and trade agreements with other countries. One of them would be China. They will join and create their own bloc, leaving America out. And this once powerful nation will then be isolated. This once powerful nation will start to get poorer. And sadly, we're seeing that already. People can't afford to lose their life savings. People can't afford to lose the investments they have in the stock market on their 401k. Those people that are retiring won't be able to. You'll see people 60, 70 years old working at McDonald's because they don't have any money, because their retirement savings was destroyed by an idiot who has no understanding of tariffs. That's all the time I have. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. And don't forget, we have another channel, a sister channel, Nights Around the Fire. It's with me and my co-host, Ashley Hamilton. We're discussing mysteries, legends, and myths on that channel. I'll put the link in the description box to get you there. And don't forget, God loves you, God bless you, and I'll see you next time right here on The David Tomsic Show.